last season you were taking a little personal, I guess, on yourself, that maybe not making an impact as much last year. I guess what did you do maybe specifically to over the off season to maybe think like, hey, I think we can make an impact this year?
I think me and Tyler Scoov, we kind of did a deep dive, kind of what we were doing, and what I've done in the past, which I think has worked. And you got to do some different things. I think I kind of got stale, practice in some of our schemes, and just went back to the basics of getting our guys to play hard. Honestly, that was pretty. We started doing things in spring ball that we didn't do in the past. Does that make sense? And we've done some things different, and it helps having Dre McCray and healthy Miles too.
How were you guys able to respond on special teams? Kind of a roller coaster day from the field goal fake that led to a touchdown to blocking the extra point, which was the difference in the game. How'd you guys?
Well, it started off like when we got down 14-0. I think every game that we've kind of gotten a lull, I try to change it juice-wise on the sideline. Like that kickoff return Dre had, 60-yard kickoff was huge because now we went out and scored, and I think that's something that changes the momentum. And that's my job. That's our job. That's our kids' job. But we have to. I said it from the first game. We just didn't do nothing that game to help us. We missed field goals. We didn't have no big returns. We didn't do anything. So throughout this whole year, my whole career, like I said, I'm going to be the first one. I'm going to be the most critical on myself. And then after that, just got to make things happen in special teams, and that's my job. So I'm hard on myself, but I'm hard on our players, and our players respond.
You didn't have Miles on Saturdays. What kind of goes into the decision who would take the punt return snaps?
Well, X has been our backup guy, so and I trust X. He made a bad choice on that one, obviously, and I credit that to not doing it. But it's unfortunate, and he knows that. But he felt horrible coming to the sideline. I still think if he would have gone to the right, he might have had a touchdown. But Miles is great, but X has been a great player here, and I trust X just like I trust Miles. So some of those decisions, you guys have seen it in college football games every week. It's special teams have killed teams, and hopefully we can fix some of those mistakes.
How much of y'all maybe worked with Dre back there?
That's not his deal. No, punt return, just a different. It's kind of like I say guys that are good punt returners usually played baseball sometime in their life. They can judge a ball. Dre's better on kickoffs just because of the spin of the ball, and it's just easier. And hopefully this next year, this spring, we'll have time to do that with him, and so train him a little bit more for the future.
Obviously, a pretty big year, if you remember, for Taj Brooks, but a pretty big game nonetheless on Saturday. How happy were you for him, and especially do so on senior day?
Yeah, come on. Taj is going to go down in the record books as one of Texas' all-time greatest backs. Obviously for this year. He really should be. I've been tooting his horn for a while, but God, he ran possessed the other night, and I told Kelly, I said, I'm not bringing him out because he was different. It was senior night, and he was on fire. He's been like that all year. I'm just saying though, you could just tell that night was. He wasn't gonna let our fans down or this football team, and that's why I love the kid. I wish more guys were like him coming out of high school, because he's what, like I've been saying, he's what college football's all about.
Coach, kind of similar note, Cam and Anquan, how have they been practicing late?
They're young, those guys during the season it's hard because they service our scout team, and so Cam, the one that I feel bad for is Cam, because Cam's really talented, but unfortunately Taj has got the hot hand. He's one third leading rusher in the country. So, if I was taking him out all the time, you guys would be asking me why is Taj not playing more. So, it's just one of those deals. Cam's developing. He's going to be the guy in the future. Next year will be his year. But just like Taj had to wait last year, split time with Roderick, and then Cam's going to be a really good running back. Same thing with Anquan and Jamari and some of those other guys. But this is Taj's year, and those other guys are just. They'll get better. That's what spring ball's for, to get and bowl practices. They're going to get a lot of reps in bowl. We get 15 extra practice. The best thing about it, those young guys are going to get a lot of practice time for bowl. So that's what I'm excited about with them.
Coach, kind of on tape, how do you and Taj attack this top 5 rushing defense that the Longhorns possess?
Same thing we've done every week. We're going to run right at them. They're Texas. They're good, but guess what? So are we. And I think you guys know my personality. We're gonna do just what we've been doing. Our offensive line's up for the challenge. You know, Texas is good, but so are we. So is Taj Brooks. So yeah, we're not gonna do anything different. Just, you know, I thought last week, I think I told you guys, Barron throwing the football opens up a lot for Taj as well. It makes it a lot easier for him. So, you know, we're going to have to throw the football some as well, and then let Taj do his thing, and our offensive line just come off and play football.
Coach McGuire mentioned, obviously you guys are a pretty good special teams group, but also with Texas as well.
Yep.
He regards as some of the top 2 in the nation. Guess what have you kind of seen with Texas on the special teams?
You know, same thing. They've got great kicker. You know, he's been good. Worthy, and one of the best punt returners. Yeah, he's kind of like what I said earlier. Kansas State, we had the same thing. You know, they're great. Also, special teams. We got a challenge. You know, our guys, we ain't shying away from Texas. I can promise you that. We're going to go after them, do the same thing we've been doing that's made us successful this year. And I think Texas is going to do the same thing too. Jeff Banks, I respect. I think he's one of the better coaches. You know, special teams takes a lot of pride in as well. So we're looking for the challenge.
Gino's field goal the other night. He hit that into a little bit of a wind.
Yeah, you know, I think that thing would have been good from 65 where I was at. I know you'll say 60, but I'm going to say 65, Don. So he hit it. You know, I think that thing, he just crushed it. Came off his foot. And right when he hit it, I was like, oh, this thing's good. Because pregame wise, he was kind of struggling going that way, and it didn't matter. We at that time of the game, we had to hit that ball, and I just. I told him, I said, Gino, just go out and do what you do. And I've been so proud of that kid, man. He's really done well.
Dre McCray's big return, watching the replay on TV, looked like J.J. Spartan had one big part.
Yeah, J.J., we actually, you know, they kind of did a little twist on us, and Drew picked it up. He just kind of picked it up. Hocutt picked it up, and almost the exact same thing he did versus Houston. He came off the block, and, man, if he could have held that block, I think Dre goes behind it and scores. He just held him up. And then, you know, the guy from the backside kind of caught him. But, you know, JJ's block was huge. And then Jaron Bradley came from all the way across the field to kind of get the other guy. So those guys, they're just selling out for Dre. And I think if you watch that game, you realize I was drawing stuff up on the sideline to try to get Dre the ball because they were squibbing, they were pooching, they were kicking away from him. So we were having to stack and we were guessing. And that's just kind of, when you have a great returner, you gotta kind of expect people to do that to you.
And Joey said earlier today that y'all put Nehemiah in.
Yeah, that's that speed play. We call it speed, and they chip it, and same thing. We got the penalty. I don't know if it was really a penalty, but Nehemiah did exactly. You know, they're going to try to kick it and get around everybody. So yeah, you got to kind of be creative when people start trying to kick away from your best player. It's kind of like when they start double teaming people. You got to go somewhere else. So we just got to do things to try to get Dre the ball, and if they don't kick it to him, be successful somewhere else.
So Nehemiah was in that spot only on that kickoff, or is he on that?
Just on that call. We have a call we call speed, and it's when people are wherever we think they're going to go, and so we just move Nehemiah around. That's the great Nehemiah's he's another one that's like a Swiss Army knife. He's got so many things he can do, and so I can move him around. I kind of put him where I think people are going to kick it as well if they're going to kick it short. That way he can play, and if they kick it deep, one of those deep guys, X or Dre gets the ball. So we just kind of. You kind of feel in the game if we think they're going to do that. That's what they did. So.
Coach,
so it's kind of the game within the game.
It is.
You're thinking ahead.
Yeah, you just got to think. They're not going to. I mean, we've seen it. And people have been kicking away from Dre, or kicking it, out of the end zone. So you just. I'm not one of those guys. I don't like the whole fair catch game. I really do. I think it's good. I'm sure it is. I'm sure there's a point where if you just can't get the ball out, you're going to fair catch it, which you saw. UCF doing against us because our kickoff team's been really good, so they didn't want to take a chance on getting the ball at the 20 or something like that. They really get to 25. So I think you take that chance. I'm one of those guys where you got guys like Dre and X get a chance to get those guys on the run, take your chance and get the ball further than the 25-yard line. That's what I look at.
Coach, with the rivalry kind of coming to a conclusion, can you talk about the energy in the locker room right now?
I think our kids, they know it's Texas, and everyone respects Texas. But we also respect Texas Tech. Texas Tech has a chip on their shoulder for a reason. And that's the great part about Texas Tech. That's why I love coaching here. Our kids believe every week they're going to win. It doesn't matter who we're playing. And good for Texas, good for us. So it's going to be a great matchup. I hope they continue to play us. I don't know why they wouldn't, but that's people hired me, my pay scale. So.
Can you talk about what a win would mean to the city of Lubbock?
I mean, I've said it. This season hadn't gone away, but right now we're back to kind of where we were at last year. This time, we had a lot of things positive happening, and I mean, for our fans in Lubbock, hell yeah, I want to win. I mean, these people, they love their Red Raiders, and there would be nothing better for us to go at the end of the season with a win versus Texas. But you know, I think the biggest thing is our program of just getting better year by year. You know, that's kind of been our goal, and you know, it was our goal this year when we started. I told you guys that, and then you know, we kind of once we got through the injury bug, we've kind of ride the ship, and now we're kind of you're seeing a lot of young guys playing, which is awesome, and they're doing some great things. So just got to keep going in the right direction.